This is about to be a doozy. Side note, I have this t-shirt and it still has concealer on like the collarbone part, like the collar. Even though I've washed it like a million times. First of all, don't ask why I was putting on concealer on my neck. Oh my gosh, I tried to make him like do a T-pose, and then as I was kind of doing it, it kind of looks like he's floating, whenever you do that thing on water and you're like floating. I don't know. But I kind of like this. It looks very clean and organized. Oh, this pose could also be taken other ways. Oops. Hi. Hello. So, in today's reading, I'm so excited. I'm excited because the format that I'm about to do for this reading is one that I've never done before, or at least I never thought I would do, but I was feeling it. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to have fun. So yeah, in today's pick a card reading, we're gonna ask, how are they feeling towards you? And honestly, I feel like with the current circumstances of the weather and it literally being cuffing season, I was like, this reading sounds like so nice. Even like for me, I just love watching these readings. I can never get enough of them. I feel like anyone, like, it doesn't, okay, it really matters who does the reading, in my opinion. And I just love readings. I'm obsessed with love. I hate to admit it. I have Venus retrograde in my chart. My Venus is in Scorpio. My Mars is in Libra. I'm all over it. But anyways, today I don't know where I was going with that, but if you've chosen your pile, you can go for it. I really never know what to say. Like, comment, subscribe. That's something I could say. Hi, how are you? Hi. Please. Okay, if you've chosen your pile, push forth. We have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. I felt like with the amount of cards I shuffled and, have here, I was like, I feel like the energies are distinct enough to where you can kind of be drawn to one. But that's what I thought. But, and anyways, if you want to listen to me ramble for like an extra minute or two, hi. So, while filming this, it is Saturday because yesterday, after I finished yesterday's video, I was thinking about this idea all day. I was like, I have to do this. I'm so excited. So, and I just love filming when I'm not posting the same day because I feel like I have all day to film the video. And usually I like to take like a little 5-minute breather in between piles, and that 5-minute breather can become more than 5 minutes, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. And also, I've just been a homebody, I applied for a job, and they gave me an interview a month later, and then come to the interview, they're like, yeah, we already have all of our positions filled. I'm like, y'all look dumb. Like, do y'all communicate? And they were like, oh, we should have sent you should have received an email about this. And I was like, I did not receive an email. And I would be the first to know because I check my email like I just obsess over my email, okay? So I would be the first to know. So that was really annoying. I think I got blocked from that job. Who knows what the case may be. But upon further, I literally went to the car wash, and the girl, I told her about it because I had to tell someone. I didn't care who it was. And she was like, yeah, I got 2 interviews there, and both times they were just super rude to me. And honestly, I love that store, so I wouldn't want to have that store ruined for me. And I agreed with her. I was like, wow, you're so right. I was like, I would never want to work for these people because they just don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to do anything. So yeah, feeling a lot less discouraged. And she's like, you'll find something. I was like, you're right. So yeah, that's where we are now. And I don't know, just doing this stuff because it's fun. And I'm like, slay. But yeah, that's really all I have to say besides, wow, I need to put air in my tires. The other night, my car started yelling at me about it. I was like, girl, you did not tell me until right now that you need air in your tires. And my fault, because I should probably start checking my air pressure more frequently and become a car guy, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have. Let's proceed to your reading. See you there. Hello, pile 1. If you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading for how your person feels towards you. And okay, the reason I was so excited to do this reading is because I'm going to do a person A, person B format, which is not a format I've ever done before. And I always like the look of how the cards just all look spread out and just how much fun it is to watch. That's just me. I don't know, but let's get right into it. For person A, oh, and by the way, I want to put a few disclaimers. I'm sure you know what's coming, but I just want to say this. If you see yourself in both piles, and it could honestly be just like different parts of yourself in both piles, you and your person could be mirroring each other. Or I've also noticed that sometimes you could see both you and your partner in both piles, same thing. And if you don't see yourself in either of the persons, then at that point use your discernment. If the reading isn't resonating, don't take it. I feel like with love readings, we become more sensitive to the reading topic and what's in it. So if it makes you feel uncomfortable or it's not resonating, it's probably not for you. And I'm just saying that because I don't want you to sit there and watch a reading and like force yourself and like be metal about it. Don't do that. But anyways, for person A, we have the horse and we have Cosmic Prince. I'm just going to be very careful to make sure that they look even. And then for person B, we have Oyster. And then we have Ultima Materia. I could be saying that wrong. This deck is a lot, okay? But anyways, I just like when it's lined up with the camera. Hold on. It's going to take some time. Anyways, so the first thing that kind of stuck out to me was we're going to talk about each person kind of individually first, but I really want to start with person B. I know it makes no sense to start on person B because B is second after A, but I noticed that with the Oyster and the Ultima Materia, I'm just going to say this lion card because I see lion on it, which by the way, we do have earth and water here. And then we have a lion figure, so there could be Leo here. And then we also have a peacock. That makes me think of air, so there could be air signs involved. But anyways, with the Oyster and this lion card, I'm immediately just feel like person B has been moving forward in their life with great purpose. How do I say? What I mean by that is it seems as if though person B is kind of moving off. I'm just going to say the Oyster person so it doesn't like get redundant. Person A, person B. But with the Oyster person, I feel as though this person is a lot more reserved, probably a little more shy. But I feel like it's the kind of person where when you get to know them, they become kind of crazy, rambunctious, and loud, and fun, and wild, and all of the above. So I definitely sense this dynamic with the Oyster person that they are very much this kind of person that just seems a little bit shy or reserved, or they could be really outgoing and really loud and rambunctious from the get-go, but as you get to know them, they become more shy. So whatever the case may be with this Oyster person, I feel like there is this dynamic to them that what you see is not what you get, okay? They're not all that they seem. And I do believe that regardless of how they present themselves or how they are in private, I feel like they are a more proud person. And probably ego is definitely something that is always either A, great about them, or B, can be an issue with them if they're out of balance. But I feel like this Oyster person has definitely moved forward in their life with more rigor and excitement. I'm sensing that this person may have gotten the job they wanted, or they've been having a lot of realizations about their life. And they're all just in like an overall energy for this Oyster person is that I just feel like things have been slowly going right in their life. And I feel as though or is kind of like the direct opposite. I just want to say that this Oyster person, that dynamics are very important and that it could literally be one extreme or the other, because that's the kind of energy I am sensing from them. And it'll kind of make more sense as I pull more Oracle cards, but because I have like 3 more. But I want to say that it really does seem as though this person is a very extreme person, an intense energy I'm sensing, and someone who probably has very deep emotions and someone who kind of guards their emotions. And, I feel like every water sign does that. So I feel like this oyster person or person B could very well be a water sign. I'm sensing like it would be this dynamic of like a water rising or sun with a fire moon, or it could be the other way around, fire rising or sun with a water moon. But I just feel like there's this kind of hot cold energy about them. If you mix water and fire gets extinguished, or if there's not enough water, it's this loud crackling, annoying, dangerous, oh my gosh, fire alarm noise. But if there's too much water, the water kind of gets extinguished. So it's like I feel like this person is constantly at odds with themselves emotionally. I feel like if this isn't you, pile one, if person B is your person, I feel as though that this connection, actually, I feel like it doesn't matter who is who in this connection. Pile one, I feel like your connection or this person, like, has caused a lot of friction in your life and a lot of, like it makes me think of, like, the square aspect in astrology. There's opportunity for great things, but there's also opportunity for great conflict. And I feel like this has been a very hot and cold connection, regardless of how far along you might be in this connection. If you don't know this person at all and you're just like, oh, I wonder how they feel, I feel like this person is definitely someone who is just in general a very kind of a person who's always at odds with themselves, always going through it, if you will, or someone who's kind of always just at it. This makes me think of Gemini energy and Libra energy, because I feel like those two signs, regardless of whether or not they are where they are in the chart, I just feel like it causes a lot of friction and a lot of self-talk, whether it be good or bad. And then on the other side, we have person A, this horse person. I feel like this horse person, lol. But I feel like this horse person is I feel like they're more observant. I feel like they're a little bit more reserved. I feel like they are a little more skittish, a little bit more rattled. I'm sensing that this person is the kind of person that may run into like conflict, or they may often retreat inside themselves to daydream or escape to an inner world. Or maybe there's a huge emphasis on your bedroom, or just kind of like a safe spot, like a location that you can escape to, whether it be spiritual or physical or, emotional. It doesn't matter, whatever the case may be. It just matters that this person always kind of has an escape plan or somewhere else to kind of run to. And I feel like with this Cosmic Prince card, the Cosmic Prince card kind of talks about spiritual awakenings. But okay, so both this card and this card, the Ultima Materia and the Cosmic Prince card, they both talk about spiritual awakenings, but this card is more about moving forward in areas that are satisfying to you, being happy and moving forward and kind of chasing your dreams. And obviously that's a very intense energy, and that's why I wanted to say that this person is probably a very dynamic person and someone who experiences high highs and low lows. And I think that as of late, that whatever the case may be, they have a lot of energy. And then with the Cosmic Prince card, it's more of a calmer card. When we think of peacocks in real life, we don't really think of a peacock sprinting full speed ahead. They move with more elegance and more beauty. And I feel like, first of all, if we have a peacock card here and then an earth sign oriented card here, I feel like this person is beautiful. I just want to throw it out there. But I do think that person A, this horse person, is kind of going through some awakenings right now. I think that this oyster person's definitely moving forward in their life more, or their life has gained more momentum and more energy. And doesn't matter the context of said energy, just the point is that there is higher energy in this oyster person's life. But I feel like with this horse person's life, it seems as if though that they're kind of going through a lot mentally. And when I say a lot, I don't want it to sound like, oh, they're going through it, they're not okay. But I do think that there were certain external stimulants that caused this horse person to kind of retreat inwards and to kind of think more and be more methodical and be more intentional with their next moves, whatever those may be. And I feel as though we have this interesting dynamic of this horse person being more introverted, being more quiet, and being more, reserved and intentional with their energy, the kind of person that, double takes a lot or thinks twice about spending money or like an excessive amount of money, or someone who is very emotionally careful. Just in general, this person is way more careful, and the horse card is definitely a momentum based card in the sense that, a horse is very quick, and once they start running, it's like they're running, you know what I mean? So I do think that this horse person, whenever they get the ball rolling, they truly are on a roll. And I think that this energy, this person, I feel like they move faster exponentially as time moves forward. So I definitely think that the union here is definitely very frictional, if that's the right word, or there's a lot of, I don't know how to describe it. Friction just seems like the best word. There's a lot of this opposites attract vibe going on here, or just a lot of rules and a lot of pointers to magnetism and how you all are attracted to each other. I think that, I don't know, this just feels like an opposites attract situation, because I feel like this horse person's a lot less extroverted than this oyster person. But it's interesting because, like I said, I was talking about how this oyster person is, maybe shy at first, but then outgoing, or outgoing at first, but then shy. But I just feel like, I think that reason I'm having such a hard time pinning it down is because it doesn't seem like y'all are necessarily one or the other, It's not like extroverted or strictly extroverted or strictly introverted, but rather a very complicated mix of both. And I think that you guys kind of pick up where the other person kind of falls down. In terms of social settings, I feel like you all kind of give off best friends energy if you all are in a connection, or if y'all have interacted, or y'all know each other, y'all getting down with it. But yeah, like I was saying, the horse person definitely seems as if though they're the type of person to kind of run away and escape, but this oyster person seems as if though they kind of clam up and fight, or they kind of run inwards too. But I do think that this oyster person is more of a fighter. And yeah, okay. And then there's 3 layers to this reading. It's gonna be a lot, y'all, so bear with me. So I also pulled some oracle cards to kind of see the base of the connection, see what's kind of going on, and provide some more context on how they may feel. And okay, so the first card we have is toxic. I will lie, I will cheat, I will obsess, I will possess. And then for these 2 cards, we have guarded and justice. So obviously, the elephant in the room is this toxic card, and I already knew that this pile was going to be very dynamic, because I feel like toxicity arises when there is intense energies, because obviously with the word obsess here at all, obsessive energy is very intense. There could be Scorpio energy involved here. I want to say Scorpio Venus or a Scorpio moon, but whatever the case may be, pile 1, when I pulled these oracle cards and I saw the toxic card, I automatically knew. I was like, wow, I really don't feel as though the relationship is strictly toxic, but I feel like the relationship, pile 1, I feel like you and your person went out of balance. I do think that it gets very toxic, and I feel like y'all are both very independent people, so that's why I feel like there's a lot of friction, because, you very much aren't into, with this justice card, oh my gosh, y'all aren't really into, being codependent, or being in those, relationships where y'all sit in the same booth when y'all eat, or at a restaurant, or, you guys are just always all over each other, hashtag couples goals, your Instagram feed is suddenly only your relationship. I feel like you guys aren't that type of relationship, and I feel like you guys are very much independent people. But I feel like on top of that, there might be, I feel like because you all are independent people and maybe you guys project emotionally onto each other sometimes because of that. And I feel like that kind of puts some damper on the independence of each other, you know? It's like when one or the other threatens the other's liberty, I feel like that's when the toxicity arises, because it's just this control freak attitude that is kind of arising. And I feel like because of that, the attraction and the kind of the romantic feelings in this relationship just kind of, because I feel like y'all know each other. Like, I don't feel as though this is the pile where you guys don't know each other at all or anything. I feel like there's history here, and I feel like the point is that this relationship or this situation has taken off. Like, there, it is somewhere along, it is within progress, you know? It doesn't matter if y'all just started talking or if y'all been talking for years on end and y'all have been in a relationship. You very well could have been in a relationship, but y'all broke up. But, you know, I think that regardless of the status of this relationship, I do feel as though that there is some history here. And I feel like with this guarded energy here, I really do think that there is a lack of communication, especially with the Justice card. There just seems to be this lack of balance with emotional vulnerability, and I think that you all very much, I feel like especially your person might be kind of explosive when it comes to expressing their emotions, or, you know, being put in a position where they have to speak up when they don't want to. Obviously, with this Oyster and this Ultima Materia card, I just feel like your person is definitely a little bit more egotistical, and that probably has gotten in the way of the relationship frequently. And I think that it has translated into some toxic behavior. And I think that I feel like you, pile one, are a little bit more reserved. I wouldn't be surprised if you are the person A or the horse person. But, you know, whatever the case may be, I just feel like you just kind of like, it's like poking a bear. Like, I just sense this energy of like, you know, like poking a bear, getting a reaction, seeing what happens, and then running away. You know what I mean? That's the kind of vibe I get. Or kind of, you know, playing with fire literally. Not literally, not like literally playing with fire, but, you know, like playing with fire. And I do think that, okay, pile one, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like it's thrilling for you. I feel like you maybe get a kick out of it, or maybe it's fun or something, because if we do have Libra energy here, I really do feel like sometimes Libra gets a kick out of rocking the boat. And not saying that you have Libra placements or anything, or that you're even a provocative person, but I do feel like there is a lot of petty mind games that goes on in this connection, whether it be you or them. And I feel like your person is just kind of explosive. That's really the best way for me to say it. I know I already said that, but I feel like the dynamic of this relationship has really taken some turns because of the lack of communication and the lack of emotional expression. And I feel like that has really put a strain on it, and obviously gave way for some toxic behavior. And I feel like this toxic behavior is more of a defense mechanism as opposed to like being toxic. You know, I don't feel, when I pulled this card along with the other cards, I don't feel as though this toxicity or this negative behavior, you know, is a result of literally just being toxic, but I feel like it's more out of the defense and more of protecting oneself. And I definitely think that with this Oyster person, I don't feel as though they are very used to being emotionally vulnerable or constantly being open. They might be a traditionalist or someone who radiates a lot of masculinity, and that masculinity could obviously translate into toxicity, toxic masculinity. I feel like maybe that's a problem here, but regardless, I do think that your person is a little bit, how do I say it? I really want you to understand, pile one. I don't want this reading to kind of put a damper on your kind of like perspective on them, because I do think that the actions are toxic, and I will not lie about that. I really do believe in that in this reading, but I don't feel like the people are toxic, you know, because nothing in this reading leads me to believe that there is true toxicity here. Not true toxicity, but malicious intent, because the toxic card I feel is very isolated, especially the way I placed it. That's just how I thought I was going to do it, and it looks good. I don't know about you, but I feel like, this kind of, it just looks pretty isolated. I feel like, if anything, maybe it's kind of a highlight of the relationship or something that could require work. And I think that it could be worked out through more communication, being more vulnerable, and being more fair with the emotional expression. So, yeah, I just feel like your person's just very, like, you're probably just like, what are you feeling? I don't know why you're going out of your way and being extra and causing all this drama when you could literally just tell me how you're feeling. And I almost wonder if you came here to get your own peace, because they would rather express their true emotions in a more abrasive and even just annoying manner. So yeah, I'm sorry, pile 1, if that's really the case. And I really just want to put a highlight on this card, because obviously it is the most bold card in this reading. It's unavoidable. And also, perhaps it doesn't even have to be that this person's being toxic to you. I feel like obviously this toxicity could be present in both of y'all's lives individually, and maybe that has kind of put a strain on the relationship, because stubbornness in one's life can obviously put a strain on a relationship. It's like, if you're exerting too much control freak tendencies in your individual life, obviously your relationship's going to suffer in some way. So I almost wonder if this kind of has to do with, like, finances, because I do see kind of like a goat figure here in this card. So that kind of makes me believe that there's Capricorn energy here because of the Devil card and all that. So I almost wonder if that there is just maybe toxic work habits. I feel like toxic work habits could be an underlying theme in this reading, especially with this Ultima Materia card. Materia, that makes me think of materials. And, material plus bad work habits equals crazy spending, all that stuff. But obviously, once again, not to take a jab at the relationship, but to provide context, I feel like love readings can sometimes be, like, a little bit unrealistic about what's going on in a relationship. And it's just like, pile 1, like, I really want you to know, like, this is how it is. Or this is very well how it could be, because obviously, no matter how much I read into the relationship, I truly don't know y'all's dynamic. But I do think that there has been a lack of, how do I say it? A lack of marriage between the feelings and the actions. That's definitely a theme in this reading, and I definitely think that it's one that's kind of made the relationship struggle a little bit. But yeah. I'm going to take away the person cards so we can get into the next portion of the reading, which is how they feel towards you. Because obviously I've provided enough context. Let's see, I'm going to move these up here. So that, because obviously they're kind of relevant. They're relevant to the connection. But yeah, let's get into it. That was a lot. I wasn't expecting it to be that much, honestly. I thought that it would be wrapped up within like 10 minutes, but it's been like 20 minutes. So if you're still watching, hi, I love you. You're awesome. And if the reading's resonating, I'm glad. But, if the reading hasn't resonated and you already clicked off, obviously you won't hear this. But thank goodness that you use your discernment, and I am proud of you. Anyways. Alright. How does pile 1's person feel towards pile 1? Same drill, same reading style. Don't play with me. That's how I like to do it. How does pile 1's person feel towards pile 1? Alright. Maybe right here. What is the T? First card. The Devil. Wow. Okay. Not gonna lie, y'all. This image really scares me. Like, this is probably one of the scariest Devil's cards I've ever seen. Not to be like, oh, you should be scared or nothing like that. It's not like that. I'm just saying, like, this is a very... This is good. But the imagery. So, obviously, we have Capricorn here. Again, I do think that Capricorn may be important here. Maybe there's Capricorn rising, Capricorn Mars. But whatever the case may be, there's definitely Capricorn present here. And... you don't have to have Capricorn in your chart, but maybe you just have a crazy midheaven, crazy Saturn placement. But the first message that I got is that I feel like one or the other person. Okay. This is kind of a random message before I kind of get into it, but I feel like there's this weird energy or like this message that I'm getting that one or the other person feels responsible for the other. You know, that kind of relationship where there's like mommy or daddy issues and like you're kind of like parenting your partner. I feel like maybe that could be something that has been kind of a theme in this relationship. Do you hear my neighbor in his loud car? Anyways, you're gonna hear that for the next few seconds. I feel like pile one, your person definitely is shackled to something, or they're kind of overly relying on vices, or they're relying too much on, I'm hearing substances. Substances could be a problem in this relationship, but that's neither here nor there. That's for some of you, not all of you. But I also feel like your person is definitely struggling with bad habits. And I feel like that's such a cliche message for a tarot, like a how are they feeling reading, because obviously most of the time I feel like you know how your person's feel. Like pile one, I think that you're probably a pile that already knows how their person's feeling, and you probably came here for confirmation or for some clarity regarding your person, and be like, why are they acting up? Why are they doing this? And you already know, I'm just going to say, you already know it's because they're in their head and they don't know how to act properly because they have some things that they need to iron out and they are not ironing them out, and instead they are projecting them, and that is clearly putting a damper on their situationships. But, you know, I do think that your person radiates a more masculine energy. They don't have to be a man, but, you know, they could radiate masculine energy. And I feel like masculine energy, when out of balance, definitely deals with the devil card. I feel like that is like kind of like the epitome definition of the devil card at times, you know, like toxic masculinity. And I also noticed that in this card, these two figures that the devil is holding on to is kind of facing them away. You can kind of see this goat figure here is facing the figures away, but they're still, you know, back to back. So I feel like this relationship has been kind of put in a position where it's very much reliant on unsustainable things, and I feel like, I don't know, it because these figures are sad, you know, they're not happy in this card, and I just feel like your person could literally just, it's just this frustrating sense of like your person could literally send you a text about how they're feeling, and like 75% of the situation could be solved or at least like resolved. And I really do feel like your person has made some bad decisions, and I do think that they did it out of protection. And I will say that with this justice card, I do think that they feel like they've definitely done you wrong, or they have incorrectly done you. And I do think that they feel bad, but I feel like they did it out of self-protection. And obviously that's not a message that I would feel good about hearing, so I'm sorry, pile one. But I will say that they do care about you enough to notice that they have clearly done you wrong, but I also feel like they're too addicted to their own, how do I say, their own ego and kind of protecting themselves. I feel like this person may be afraid of commitment. Let's pull another card. I want to see what's going on. King of Pentacles. Yeah, oh my gosh. I almost wonder if this relationship, okay, pause. Because if the message about them doing things out of self-defense, like emotionally, hasn't resonated, I also feel like with this King of Pentacles card, it could deal with materialistic things. And obviously when I say materialistic, it could really go anywhere. That could, I feel like that could range from anything from like, you know, being touchy and like the stuff, or it could also deal with career, money, jobs, things like that, because it is Pentacles. But I also think that your person radiates King of Pentacles energy. And I must say, out of balance King of Pentacles energy is literally like the same as like a terrible dad or like a selfish dad. And I almost wonder, pile one, if you have a history of attracting kind of fatherly figures or men that not men, but masculine energies that can kind of dip into toxic masculinity, especially when it comes to providing. If we have Capricorn here and just earth energy in general, I feel like Capricorns can kind of get obsessive with providing or being kind of like those know-it-alls or the ones that know everything. And I do think that in that sense that Capricorns can become a very oppressive energy, and they don't really sometimes realize how much they're affecting other people in their life. And I really do think that maybe pile one, your person is a little bit obsessed with their finances right now, and I do think that this is a very specific message, but I feel like they feel a lack of financial stability, and maybe they're kind of projecting that on you, or like kind of projecting that onto the relationship or the situation at hand here. And I do think that it's a problem for them, like they need to sort it out. But it's a very complicated message because so much dealing with the 3D is tampering with this relationship. And I feel like your person is just like really tunnel visioning on their career, or tunnel visioning on materialistic things, or your person feels a lack of stability in the relationship and they're projecting it onto materialism, and they could very well be exceeding with their career right now. They could be making money. They could be just engrossed in their job. And I almost wonder if they're kind of like using work to cope, so maybe they seem like they don't really care, or they're kind of like, like just like, oh, can we hang out? Can we talk? Like, sorry, I'm at work right now. Just that kind of vibe. And I feel like your person is just kind of like, I want to say that pile one, this is another specific message. If your person is excelling in their career or excelling financially, materialistically, either if they're excelling or they're not excelling at all and they're literally like flopping right now, I feel like once again with that extreme energy coming through, I think that you can really get a gauge on how they feel towards you or what they're feeling based on how much or how little they're investing into their career, because your person can be very like a very motivated or driven person. Like they don't have to be Capricorn, but I do think that cardinal energy is very strong in their chart. It could deal like that's like Cancer, Aries, Libra, and Capricorn. So I think that those placements are relevant here in the sense that they're cardinal energies, and I think that your person is a very direction oriented person. And I feel like if they feel a lack of direction in one part of their life, they kind of, how do I say, project that or transmute that fear or lack mentality into other places of their life, and that part of their life obviously is receiving tons of attention, so that part naturally grows, because I feel like their fear is so great that it really pushes them to do some really amazing things, honestly. Like I'm gonna just take a moment and give that person credit, whether that's you or them, but I really do feel like that your person is the one that's kind of doing this. Let's pull another card. What's good? Ooh, Knight of Cups. Okay, that kind of changes things. Well, not changes things, but I feel like because the Knight of Cups, I'm looking at this card here, and the one thing that I did mention that I happen to notice is that, like, I feel like, okay, so hear me out. This is kind of me being... So the King of Pentacles here is looking this way, and they're looking towards the Devil card, but their eyes are closed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hold on. Oh my gosh, please. But his eyes are closed, and he's looking towards the Devil card. But then when we get past the King of Pentacles, we go farther this way, we have the Knight of Cups, and his eyes are open, and we have this cup here, because, it's like Knight of Cups. So I almost wonder, pile one, if they have their eyes closed to a lot of the issues at hand, or a lot of the things that the processes or kind of behaviors your person is participating in, and they're kind of like ignoring it, and they're kind of like, like reveling in this materialism and these pentacles in an effort to close their eyes and distract themselves from what's really going on here. But then deep down, I feel like your person does want to say stuff to you. And when I say stuff, I feel like they really do have romantic feelings for you. That's a given, honestly. If this person at all has coped through work, obviously that's something they do when strong feelings are present within them. Basically what I'm trying to say is like if the feelings are strong enough to scare them into pushing their career or finances or another area of their life forward, or kind of like, full throttle ahead in another area of their life, that just really goes to show the magnitude of their feelings. And obviously in this case we're talking about how they feel towards you. And so I feel like their feelings towards you can really be measured by how much they are doing in their kind of 3D day-to-day life. And I think that with this Knight of Cups here, it's just like their true emotions are hidden underneath a lot of that. And I feel like deep down they do want to make an offering to you. And the contents of this offering are obviously completely mixed and matched and different from person to person that's going to be watching this. Once again, Pile 1, if you're still watching, wow, I love this for you. Thank you so much. But I will say, Pile 1, I feel like your person is really stubborn and really in their head and probably has their head up their arse, or it's just kind of egotistical. Like, I just thought of that one moment from Keeping Up the Kardashians or whatever, where Kim and Kourtney were arguing, and Kim was like, I just need her to stop being so annoying with a stick up her arse and acts like she runs this, because she doesn't. And I feel like that energy is kind of present here, just being like, I feel like that's your mentality towards this person, just like, I need them to stop being so annoying with a stick up their arse as if they run this, because they don't. But, deep down, Pile 1, I do think that your person really cares about you and really understands that they have done you wrong and they've really done some injustice to you, but it's just like they're too egotistical to admit that out loud to themselves and to other people. I do think that this feeling is kind of isolated within them and kind of like, how do I say, just kind of like under work. I feel like their emotional life is very underdeveloped and very young, and I almost wonder if this emotional innocence was what kind of attracted you in the first place. But let's pull another card here. We have 7 of Swords. Wow. Once again with the theme of just not telling the truth. What I also noticed here is there's also kind of an emphasis on hands I'm seeing. Like, I see hands here, there's hands here. Obviously, like, humans have hands, but I still feel called to mention them. And Gemini rules the hands, so I almost wonder if your person is a Gemini. And I love y'all Geminis, but y'all really can start ruining lives when y'all want to, so please just stop. But with the 7 of Swords here, I do think that your person is clearly being dishonest about their feelings, and they're, I'm gonna say it again, they're sending smoke and mirrors. And I think that they're being very deceptive, and that they're, well, clearly, Pile 1, I think you know this, but I'm gonna just reiterate for the purpose of the reading. I think that they are being very deceptive and that they're being very dishonest about their emotions, and just know actions speak louder than words. And I think that phrase, that saying, is extremely applicable, especially in your pile. I do think that your person's actions literally don't line up with their words, because I just feel like they'll say one thing and do something completely different. It's like they'll be like, I hate you, but then, like, I don't know, bring you a bread basket. Or they'll be like, wow, I really care about you, like, you're my world, and then they'll, like, proceed to ruin your life, and then you're just, like, listening to Olivia Rodrigo or Lana Del Rey, and it's just, like, if you're going through that, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But I really do feel like, I will say, Pile 1, I think that if you have the capacity to watch through this reading, I really do think that you're kind of in this position where you're like, I'm tired of this person's BS, and I wish they would stop being a 4-year-old. And I do think that's kind of relevant there. I get this energy that you're kind of fed up with your person, and just know that, like, with the 7 of Swords, it's just the sense of like your person's kind of hogging all their, see what I mean? Like they're hogging all of their thoughts and their emotions, but then there's like they're only giving you kind of like a little bit, so they're probably breadcrumbing you or being kind of flaky when it comes to their feelings. So I feel like, it's, they'll talk to you and talk to you, they'll paragraphs on paragraphs, but then the minute you're like, how are you feeling, they'll send you like 3 words, you know what I mean? Or you're just like, I don't know, I just feel like you were acting weird today and I just want to make sure you're okay. And they're like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, and then WBU, like, what about you? Like, and they'll just like go crazy about gaslighting and be like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you crazy? But I do think that you're kind of immune to this person's antics now, because I think that you have picked up on it. And I do think that the guarded card, obviously this was part of the mutual part of the connection, so I do think that you have guarded yourself as well. I think that you're kind of appreciating them and looking at them from afar or from a safe angle. I'm thinking like there's a zombie apocalypse and you're like safe up in a tower and you're just watching it all happening from above and you're like, wow, that's terrible. But I do think that you're kind of in this more reflective, introspective stage of your life, especially because earlier I mentioned the Cosmic Prince and Horse card. I do think that you've been gaining momentum in your personal life. I almost wonder if you clicked on this video just for like funsies, not because you actually care about how your person feels, just like, oh, I wonder what's going on with them. Same old, same old. But yeah, I will just go ahead and say that I really feel like this is more of a confirmation reading more than like true like news that you haven't heard yet, because I feel like you're smart enough to know, especially if there's Capricorn energy here present. Despite the fact that Capricorn energy when out of balance is really terrible, I also think that when in balance they are some of the most intuitive and intelligent people. And honestly, you really can't fake a front in front of a Capricorn. I don't think you can really keep that up. Like, you can't really lie to a Capricorn for too long. They catch on so fast. It's like, I don't think people really point that out about Capricorns enough. But yeah, I do want to say that your person probably thinks about you. I almost wonder if this connection is just over. That's for some of you, not all of you. And I'm not saying that like, oh, it's going to be over. But I do feel like for a good majority of you, like this is kind of a relationship that has kind of ended, taken its toll. And you're just kind of checking in and you're like, oh, what's going on? But do know that your person has feelings for you, whether or not you care. And they did what they did because they're too scared of being vulnerable, and they would rather hide in superficial things because they are not equipped to deal with such deep emotions. And that obviously will take introspection and learning from them on their own time, not your time. So yeah, I have a few more oracle cards here, just some messages like what they would want to say to you, and just kind of some tea leaf cards because I've been obsessed with these. So yeah, first card we have here is, I remember every detail of that day, and I left you before you could leave me. I almost wonder if your person, with this card, I don't feel as though it could literally be that they ended it, but I also feel like it could be like they pushed you to the point of where you left them. And with this, I remember every detail of that day, I really do think that kind of deals with the day that things kind of ended, or things kind of went south, or kind of like there was a particular day where you expressed, or there was a serious convo going on. Because I really do think that, communication is a big factor in this reading, and I do think that there was a particular day where the communication started spiking up, and that's when kind of things went south, because when they needed to show up they didn't, or like vice versa. But yeah, let's see what these have to say. We have Wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. Broom. New home, new attitude. And Crib. Birth or conception of a child or enterprise. If you hear noise, it's my roommate. So yeah, sorry. And Cane. Pay attention to your health. Yeah, I do think that with this Broom, the Cane card, I feel like with all these cards, it kind of speaks about how like you should really take care and really understand that this connection probably put a damper on you more than you like to admit. And Honestly, I do think that with this wedge card, it says someone or something is trying to come between you, but I feel like they're trying to, I almost wonder if your person's been reaching out to you frequently or kind of like, texting you like, hey, how are you? Or like, hey, I miss you and stuff like that. And you're just like, nah, because you were acting up and you were acting a fool, so stay away. And I think that with this broom card, this doesn't have to be a physical move. It very well could be for some of you, but I do think that this card kind of speaks about the fact that you've kind of made your own home outside of the relationship and moved along here. Maybe you lived with this person and you're just like, let me just leave, let me just move out, I'm done. And obviously with this crib, I almost wonder if like there's a theme of kids in your life. I don't know. Maybe there's like a theme of a baby in your life, but that's for some of you, not all of you. But yeah, pile one, I just want to say like, congrats if you left this person, but if you haven't, congrats on recognizing the fact that they are in any way toxic or immature. And that takes guts, that takes growth. Not all of us can just sniff out when something is toxic. That takes a new perspective. So yeah, I hope that resonated. If it did, tell me down below. I was really excited to do this reading. It's a completely different format, so yeah, before my roommate starts making any louder noise, I'm gonna just end it off here. So thank you so much for watching. I love you. Like, comment, and subscribe if it resonated. So yeah, bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this pile 2, this is going to be your reading for how your person feels towards you. Okay, y'all. The reason I was so excited to do this reading is because I just like, okay, I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm doing a person A, person B format, which is so exciting because I've never done a reading like this before. And I just like, I don't know, every time I watch readings that are structured like this, the how are you feeling readings, or how are they feeling readings, it's just, I love the look of all the cards laid out and just them talking, it's just so relaxing. And it's just like even better when the reading resonates and it's just like fun. So yeah, let's get right into it. We're gonna do, there's gonna be 3 layers to this reading. I should have told this to pile 1. They were my guinea pigs, poor things. But I'm gonna do like a person A, person B, talk about both, and then we're gonna lay some more cards out for the kind of energies between the connection, and then we're gonna get into the tarot, being like, oh, how are they feeling towards you, and then just some messages. So yeah, for person A, we have the Lizard and Sin Eater. So I just like when things look nice. My Virgo midheaven, nothing can be imperfect, especially if I'm showing it to other people. And then for person B, we have Dolphin and Crone Magic. Let me just say right off the bat, I'm obsessed with you both. I love both of you. Okay, so the Sin Eater card, okay, let me tell you something real quick before we get into it. I just have to say it. My favorite card in this entire deck. The Sin Eater card is my favorite card in the entire deck. So beautiful. Beautiful message, amazing name, amazing imagery, just oh my gosh, it's just so saturated. Crone Magic is probably my second favorite. So beautiful. Anyways, I want to start with person A. And oh, by the way, before we get into this, a few disclaimers. You probably know what I'm going to say, but if both sides are kind of sound like you, that means you guys might be mirroring each other. Or if you kind of like, I've noticed sometimes where you kind of like notice little bits and pieces of yourself in both, and then bits and pieces of your person in both, same scenario there. And also, if the reading isn't resonating at all, like it doesn't sound like either of y'all, just use your discernment there and know that this reading is probably not for you. I want to say that because I don't want you to listen to a reading that's not resonating and then like feed you the wrong information, and then you get all nervous and it's like, girl, it's fine. You're okay. I'll post more of these readings if y'all want more. I would be delighted to make more. And I just like these readings, they're fun. But obviously they can be a little bit excessive, and that's why I don't want to be like, But what was I going to say? I was going to say something else. There's something else I was going to say. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. So with person A, the Lizard and the Sin Eater card, the reason I like it so much is because it is a card that talks about forgiving yourself. eating your sins. Literally. Because, see, okay, first of all, we have fire, and then we have water here, and then we have a goat here, which makes me think of Capricorn. But I want to say with the Sin Eater card is that it's a beautiful message in that you must let go of yourself. Like, you must let go of what's holding you back, and you have to forgive yourself for the wrongs you've done. And I think that person A with this lizard card, you're probably very sensitive. I really can't tell if you will be person A or person B. I feel like with the pile one, I could kind of tell who is person A. I'll probably find out as we go on with the reading. But I just want to say with person A, I'm going to say the lizard person, dolphin person, because that's like a little bit less disorienting. With this lizard person and the Sin Eater card, I feel like because the lizard card is a very subtle and sensitive energy, one that is very quick. You know, when we think of lizards in the wild, it's like they can move great distances in just a few seconds, and they are very much in love with the sun. They have dry skin, so maybe you have dry skin or your person has dry skin, loose thought there. But with that, I just feel like this lizard person has a lot to forgive themselves for, because I feel like being such a sensitive or such a skittish energy, I feel like even the littlest mistakes to you can kind of make them feel very upset and very like, oh my gosh. And you know, I feel like maybe this lizard person is very susceptible to beating themselves up or being hard on themselves, being too self-critical. And I just feel like I almost wonder if like this dolphin person's like more playful, and they just like are constantly like telling the lizard person, no, you're fine the way you are, you're too hard on yourself. And just want to throw that out there real quick because I felt it. But I also feel like with this lizard person, like I think that the more they forgive themselves, it seems as if though the more the connection improves. And I feel like you'll see once we get into more oracles, but I just feel like this lizard person is a very, not shy person, but I feel like a more serious person. I'm sensing a very serious energy from this lizard person. Someone who is just very kind of maybe monotone at times, and maybe sometimes it kind of seems as if though I'm sensing like a fire Mars, and then kind of like Earth in the big three. So like Sun, Moon, Rising, one of those is an Earth, but then like a fire Mars. Or fire rising, but I feel like this lizard person just is very good at discerning when it's time to be serious and when it's time to have fun. And I think that they very much are a by the books person, and someone who really strives for order in their life, someone who just wants things to go perfectly and wants things to go right. And they probably get bruised a lot because they're just like, they want things to go right, and when it doesn't, they feel very upset. Some control freak tendencies there, and honestly, who doesn't exhibit those nowadays? And I just think that this lizard person may be a little bit of a nervous person, someone who, whether maybe they don't actually show that they're nervous, but I am sensing that deep down they may feel a little bit nervous, a little bit skittish, a little bit rattled. You know, someone who's a little bit anxious. And I just feel like with the Sin Eater card, they really have some things to forgive themselves for, or they've probably made some major mistakes in the past, and they really are letting go of those things. And obviously a major mistake, like it doesn't matter, you know, whatever major mistake means to you or this person, you know, the magnitude of that word depends on your own kind of judgment. And I do think that this lizard person's very sweet, first of all. I think that they're very nice in their own way. I almost wonder if they're the kind of person that shows their love through buying you little gifts or doing you little favors, you know, kind of the sense of, oh, it's your birthday, so I cleaned your house and I got you this little thing I seen at Target and it reminded me of you. You know, I feel like they're a more meek or subtle person, despite, I almost wonder if there's like this huge like kind of polarity to their kind of identity or personality, because maybe they appear or feel like come off as a very daunting, intimidating person, but then once you get to know them, they're like obsessed with TV shows and popcorn and, you know, walks through Walmart at 3 a.m. You know, it just doesn't, they give off a vibe, but that vibe isn't completely true to how they actually feel or think or how they behave. But I do think that, it's this vibe of like gentle giant, or, vice versa. Someone who may be very meek looking and someone who seems small but they're actually kind of crazy and it's just like, please. But, I also think that they may be a little bit emotionally unavailable, but that's for some of you, not all of you. But I do think that maybe your person is a little bit emotionally detached or a little bit distant, or someone who is easily scared by emotions, or someone who kind of takes things in at their own pace and likes to take things slow. This might be a slow burn connection, honestly. But yeah, let's get into the dolphin person. Oh my gosh, this dolphin person is amazing. Both of you are amazing, And with this dolphin person, I feel like, okay, so the Crone Magic card, let's talk about this card first because I feel like it's a little bit less obvious. But Crone Magic talks about how your outward appearance, or at least this is how I kind of took it in, is that your age and your outward appearance doesn't necessarily talk to, like, speak of your energy or how much you actually know. And so combine that with the dolphin card, because we can obviously hear an elderly woman in this card. It kind of, to me, says that maybe your person, this person, B person, that was a lot. The dolphin person is, what they give out once again is not what they actually know. I feel like these are two very intricate people, and people who have seen a lot, and because of what they've seen, it has produced two very attractive and, I don't know how to say, seemingly innocuous energies. Like, what you've gone through doesn't really speak to or seem to really be like sniffed out in just your personality and your persona alone. Like, if someone met you, they would not know that you've gone through what you've gone through. And with this Crone Magic card, I feel like this dolphin person is very playful, very sweet, and very like, like, oh my gosh, like giggly and all that. But they've actually gone through a lot, or they're actually extremely intelligent, just kind of this vibe of like someone in school who's like the class clown and doesn't know how to act, but then they get like all A's, all 100s without cheating or anything. And it's just like, what is going on with this person? Who are you? Like, you're an alien, like you're a menace to society. I don't know. But I do think that this dolphin card, I do think that the descriptor for it is going to be a little bit more sparse and a little bit more shallow, because obviously it'll be kind of hard to pin down what this person has gone through to create said knowledge. But I do think that this dolphin person has a lot of wisdom to share, and they very well may be a very spiritual person. Someone who, obviously, maybe it could be you, pile to maybe you are the dolphin person, but that's just my thoughts, because the dolphin is a very spiritual card. And obviously, if you're a spiritual person, you would watch tarot readings, or you would at least believe in tarot or kind of resonate with it. But I do think that this dolphin person kind of gives off this spiritual or like a religious air. So maybe they're a traditionalist if they aren't you. But with the fact that it's a water-based card, like the water element, this person could be obviously a little bit more emotionally innocent. I think of a glass of water, or like a calm lake, or rain, or like a drizzle. I also noticed that the colors in this card in general are just so much more not interesting, but more colorful, more flamboyant, and more attractive and more radiant. So I think that this dolphin person is truly just an emotionally beautiful person, and someone who has learned a lot and just understand, like, I think this dolphin person understands that their emotions are very much valid, and they probably go with that, and they're probably very playful, but also simultaneously a great shoulder to cry on. Sounds like I said crayon, but I feel like this dolphin person just overall is just such a sweet and selfless person, but simultaneously one who knows how to take care of themselves and one who knows how to sustain themselves. And I feel like is true to how dolphins are in real life. I feel like dolphins are so playful and so fun. They really get along with any species that they come in contact with, but at the same time, they're very good at defending themselves and really, sustaining themselves when it comes down to it. And they really are wise creatures to be able to be so selfless and so playful. It's like embody this childlike and innocent energy while also just being so much fun to be around. But also, when it comes down to it, they can get really serious and be very vicious when they need to be. I've never heard of a dolphin attacking, but I'd imagine that it's just like not a vibe when they're in attack mode. Just be like, get that away from me. But so let's get into the oracle cards that will kind of signify the connection. And y'all, I'm a little bit excited for y'all because we have soulmate, my heart is yours for eternity. And then we have healing and Ace of Knives. So the first thing that I noticed, the absolute first thing, is that this Ace of Knives, we can kind of, it's a little bit visceral. I literally covered up the F word in my previous reading. I'm about to show this. But in this Ace of Knives card, I've noticed that these sausages are being kind of sliced, for cooking before they could reach what they were trying to reach. And I just want to say, I feel like with this healing card, I feel like this connection's been blocked. I feel like regardless of the status of the situation, I feel like maybe you guys could like not be in contact or be in sparse contact. But that's a message for some of you. Y'all could literally be texting or on FaceTime right now as you're watching this video. But I just feel like with this Ace of Knives cards and this healing card, I feel like this connection has been a little bit blocked. But there's an undeniable spark, I feel. I feel like there's an undeniable underlying current of emotions. It is so beautiful, but I feel like with this healing card and Ace of Knives, like I've been trying to say, I feel like it's blocked because I feel like with the Sin Eater card here, I do think that, whether or not this energy is present in both parties, I think that there is this era of forgiveness and having to forgive oneself. And really, because in the Sin Eater card, there's also talks about sacrifices. It talks about how in a lot of more ancient cultures or like kind of like practices, something is sacrificed, whether it be a person or an animal. Goats were often signified as sacrifices, or they're often depicted in the devil card. But I feel like that energy in general is just this sense of sacrifices being made in order to cleanse a community or a specific energy of all of its sins, or kind of the negative energy or wrongdoings. And obviously the word sin, it even talks about it in the description for this card. The word sin obviously has a lot of religious energy to it and a lot of religious background to it, but that's just the nature of the word. And in more literal terms here, it's just talking about how someone in this connection or an energy in this connection needs to be forgiven or accepted. And there just is a lot of obstacles in that sense that need to be kind of let go of and forgiven through healing and through just more patience. Because I feel like with this Ace of Knives cards and Ace of Knives card and the imagery, it's just a sense of like this connection will be given and will be allowed once one or more individuals in this party learns to forgive themselves and kind of move on from their mistakes and stop letting those mistakes and kind of influences kind of influence their thought process in this relationship. Because it's just until you change that thought process, things will keep repeating themselves, because that's just the nature of our humanity. And I think that that's especially important here in this reading, because I feel like this dolphin person is a lot more patient with this lizard person, being like, oh, like, I'll wait for you, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like that is a little bit recognized here, but I do think that great love is potential here. I feel like your person is just like, I feel like your person could be the Sin Eater person or like this lizard person. And I do think that, or, it doesn't really have to be, I feel like it could very well just be vice versa. I'm just kind of saying that because I feel like whether or not you feel that you need to forgive yourself or another party in the relationship needs to forgive themselves, I do think that there is also this air of acceptance, but also this, because this dolphin energy is a little bit more like, like childish and a little bit, not childish and like immature, but, more playful. I feel like they're also susceptible to getting hurt in this connection. I feel like there has been a theme of a lot of, oh, this hurts, or like, wow, creative. But, you know, this sense of reality checks when you were hoping for something so much more. And I do think that this connection is being divinely timed by the universe. I feel like it is being very carefully fabricated, and the story is being told very carefully and very slowly. And I think that's being done by healing and overcoming obstacles in one's life, whether that be both parties or, you know, multiple parties or just one party. And I do feel like with this soulmate card, obviously this could be your soulmate. That's for some of you, not all of you. And I just want to say that if you're a fellow commitment phobe, the word soulmate, it doesn't have to be like a forever thing. It isn't always a forever thing. And if you believe in the forever thing, then that could very well be for you. But I'm just saying this for my fellow commitment phobes. It doesn't always have to be forever, you know? At the end of the day, whatever this connection is and whatever it could destine to be, like what the potential is, you're still in control and you still have complete complete energetical control, in the sense that if you want this, you can have it with time. But if you don't want this, you know, that's completely up to you. But like I said, for my fellow commitment phobes, soulmates doesn't always mean forever. You can have multiple soulmates. But I also think that with this healing card here, I feel like the more you all individually heal, the more the connection improves, because I feel like with how sensitive you all are, I feel like both parties, or whatever, like how many parties are in this connection, I feel like more than one party in this connection is very susceptible to kind of taking on other people's burdens or emotions, you know, and kind of carrying other people's weight for them, because you all are such self-sacrificing and sweet people. And maybe that has gotten taken advantage of in the past, and that's probably something that has to do with the history of the connection. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because the reason this connection is being blocked is because you all are being protected from doing that, you know. You all should enjoy the connection for what you guys bring to the table, and that should be good. Like the good things brought to the table, you know, you guys should savor each other individually and not just color change to the other person's problems and, you know, absorb those and, you know, take those on for them, because I feel like that makes way for extreme codependency. And obviously as humans, we're naturally codependent, and I think that is kind of like an intertwined, or like a part of us that coexists with our existence. But obviously there is a certain point where codependency is toxic and it's just unsustainable and ruins relationships. And I think that right here, this is a very delicate connection and one that is very divinely protected. And maybe if you guys have tried to make it work and it hasn't, or like you guys things kind of seem to get in the way, it's because it's being delayed, because one or more party in this relationship needs to forgive themselves and kind of let go of things, so that the connection can excel from a place of love and unity, as opposed to this place of like being built on trauma bonding and, you know, like picking up the other's problems, or, you know, taking on the weight of others for them, you know. And that's obviously, you know, a little bit of that is kind of present and appropriate in relationships, but obviously to the extent that you all would take on it, like you all will literally take some, like solve and deal with someone's problem for them, and, you know, that's just unsustainable in this relationship, because you all deserve to enjoy this connection and love each other for better things other than trauma bonding or like dealing with the other's problems. You know, you want to deal with what's great about this person, not what's, you know, like what they're forgiving themselves for and what they're letting go of. So yeah. Okay, I think that's all I have for that part of the reading. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take away the person cards, and then I'm going to get into the tarot and see how they feel about you. And then we have a few more oracle cards to just kind of wrap things up. Yeah. Phew. These readings are intense. The first reading, pile 1, was so long. I was not expecting that. I was like, wow, y'all. This is a doozy. This is fun. This is something new. I don't know. I was gonna talk about something, but whenever I'm shuffling, I'm just like in the zone. I'm like shuffle card. So I don't know. What's y'all's favorite color? Comment down below. LOL. Hi. But yeah, y'all know the drill. I'm gonna pull the cards the same way as I've always pulled them. What are pile two's person's feelings towards pile two? What are pile two's person's feelings towards pile two? Oh my gosh. No, that's not how we pull them, child. What are pile two's feelings towards pile two? I like pulling the cards for these readings. I don't like when they flop out. I feel violated. So yeah, first card here we have Knight of Cups. Wow. First of all, Knight of Cups is a very romantic card in my eyes. And I do feel as though, I just feel like this entire pile is just, the storyline for it is probably really dramatic. Very, very dramatic. I feel like you all have gone through a lot. This very well could be a very long sustained connection, or if you just met this person, or it's still kind of in the younger stages of the connection. I feel like it feels like you have known each other for a very long time now. That could signify like a past life connection, but that's for some of you, not all of you. But it could also just mean that like this person is just so painfully like your type that it literally just feels like you've known them your whole life. But with this Knight of Cups here, I do think that this person has very intense emotions for you, or very sweet emotions for you, rather I say. Just this sense of like very innocent, they're following their heart. Makes me think of like Pisces energy and Libra energy. They could also just be a water sign period because it's the Knight of Cups, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But I also feel like the Knight of Cups is about making an offering. So I almost wonder if just as of late, or they're going to make an offering to you, or have made an offering to you. And I feel like this offering could come in literally any shape or form. This offering, it's just like whatever this offering could mean to you, or however it manifests for you. It could literally just be like, hey, do you want to go to the store together? Or like, hey, we haven't talked in a while. You know, whatever the magnitude of this offering is, the point is that there is an offering to be made, or has been made. And I think that as of late, they really want to express their feelings to you, or they really just want to like kind of express themselves to you more. But with this Ace of Knives card, I almost wonder if there's this intense hesitance because they may be healing, or you may be healing. And maybe this is a very turbulent stage of your life, pile two. Maybe like you're just in this stage of your life right now that just doesn't allow them to express themselves to you in a more romantic, more genuine, and truly like ushy gushy type of way. You know what I mean? I feel like they just really want to say something to you, or they really want to kind of let you know how they feel. But I just feel like there has been circumstances in this reading that like, I feel like there's circumstances where you feel like you can't, like they feel like they can't, you know. I feel like maybe you've kind of made it clear to them through your actions. And I almost wonder if like, because we did have the Sin Eater card here, maybe pile two, you might be the Sin Eater card. Maybe there's things that you need to forgive yourself for, and maybe you need to, I feel like there's a party in this connection that needs to allow the connection to start taking off. Or it's just like someone in this relationship needs to stop believing that they are not worthy, or that they, you know, like that this won't happen, you know. Like y'all very well could be soulmates, or like childhood lovers, okay? But with this Knight of Cups here, I do definitely think that your person has feelings for you, and they really want to express them to you in one way or another. However this person may express them, they could literally send you a text, they could leave you love notes, they could, you know, like buy you something, or take you out somewhere, or like call you, you know, whatever the case may be, depending on who your person is. But regardless, across the board, your person wants to say something to you, and it is in regards to their feelings for you. So yeah, let's pull another card. Five of Wands. Once again, that theme of, I feel like this conflict talks about external energies, and I feel called to mention this. Okay, so there's obviously 5 wands here because it's like the 5 of Wands, you know. But I almost, did the camera just move? If it did, I'm so sorry. But with the 5 of Wands here, it's interesting because there's 5 wands here, but then there's 3 hands. So I almost wonder if a third party is present here. And this third party could be from either side, but I just feel like there is a lot of conflict here, and I feel like external energies have a say in it. Like, I almost wonder if this connection has been kind of blocked because of external people or like external energies, you know, like maybe this person got in the way, or this person caused you pain, or this person blocked y'all literally. Maybe this person told lies to your person, or like they told lies to you. Just a lot of, I'm gonna say it again, I said it in pile one, I said it in my last video, but there's a lot of smoke and mirrors here, and I feel like that has kind of caused one or more parties in this situation to kind of go into healing. And I feel like this is a very healing time for you, pile 2. I think that regardless of whatever energy you identified with in the first part of the reading, I do feel as though you are healing and you're getting over a lot right now, and you're still in the midst of a lot of turbulence in your life with this 5 of Wands right now. And I feel like there is this confusion for direction in someone's life here. It could very well be yours, but it could also be theirs. Take what resonates, and however which it resonates, I mean. But I do feel as though with this 5 of Wands card, there's just a sense of like conflict, and this conflict could manifest in very little or very severe ways in both of y'all's lives. You know, it could literally be like, oh, like, you know, like we just haven't talked in a while, or like, oh, like there's a petty argument. But it could also just be as crazy as like, oh my gosh, like insert profanity hit the fan, or like things are going crazy right now, like I don't even know anymore, like I don't even know what I'm doing, I don't know, like I can't bring this person into it, you know, just that sense. Like maybe your person, like someone wants to help the other person, but they feel like they're like being blocked. They're like, no, I don't want you to be a part of this, like I don't want you to go through this, you know, because it's like, once again, that theme of like your person will take on burdens for you and vice versa. I do think that's kind of like a mutual part of the relationship. You guys kind of take on each other's burdens for the other person, and I feel like that's kind of one thing that has obviously been protected, because I think that maybe you are the person that's like, oh, I can't let you do that, or maybe obviously, like, take it however it resonates. It could be your person that's like, oh no, I can't let you take on these burdens for me. But yeah, I feel like this 5 of Wands card plus the Knight of Cups, there has been a lot of conflict and a lot of confusion that has prevented emotional expression from both parties. And I think that there is also a level of dishonesty, and I don't think that this level of dishonesty is like crazy or anything. I don't think it's like, oh, like they're cheating on you or something, but rather just this sense of like a lot is going on and there is not the complete truth is being told. You know, that sense of like when someone's not, you're not lying, but you're not telling the full truth either. And because of that, it's causing a lot of emotional confusion in this connection, especially with you, pile 2, I'm sensing. But just know, like, it is undeniable that your person really cares about you, and they really just like want to be with you, and they really want to help you. They really want to help you. Wow. But I feel like you're not letting them, or vice versa. Like, you really want to help your person, but they're not letting you, or like you really want to be with your person, but they're not letting you. But yeah, let's pull another card here. The Hanged Man. Okay, this card, I feel very called to mention this because, so we have a Hanged Man here, obviously, because it's the Hanged Man card. But look at this. He is being suspended from, if it would focus, my beloved iPhone. You can kind of see that he's being suspended from what looks like a wand, but what's suspending him is water. And I always like mentioning that in this particular deck, because this is the only deck that depicts the Hanged Man that way. So I feel like I'm just sensing that like actions aren't lining up with feelings here. Like, this is kind of a theme in pile 1, but I don't think that y'all would resonate with pile 1, just saying. But I do feel like my neighbors are playing loud music. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to focus on myself. But anyways, maybe loud music's kind of like a theme in y'all's relationship. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that with this wand card here, with this emotions and also this energy of like fire and water, like emotions and actions, I feel like what someone is doing in this connection, I feel like what your person is doing is not completely lining up with how they're feeling, or vice versa. I'm going to keep saying vice versa because I want to keep reiterating that like what I'm saying could be applied to one or like the other person, or it could be applied to you. But I do feel like with this Hangman card here, it is also interesting because he's kind of like, not wearing clothing, and he is kind of hanging onto his head. So I feel like your person feels very vulnerable with you, and I feel like they are kind of like being put in a very vulnerable position, and they're kind of like, being suspended from their actions and what they want to do with their feelings. I feel like there's an emotional hesitance to carry through with actions they want to take. Could be with their emotions and like expressing them, or like making an offering to you, or maybe they've made an offering to you and you like denied it, or like vice versa, like you made an offering, they denied it. But I also feel like with the Hangman card here, it's just this. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to what my freaking neighbors are listening to, but it's just this sense of denial and this sense of like, how do I say it? Feeling vulnerable, and they feel very vulnerable with you, and they really want they really want to communicate with you, and they really want to like make a move, or they want to say something, but they feel like they can't, and because of that they feel very emotionally vulnerable with you, and they're kind of scared. I feel like they feel like you could really hurt them, or like you could hurt them, and it's just like a lack of honesty, and not blatantly lying, but not completely telling the truth either. And I don't know. I think that this Hangman card could go several different ways here, but I think that the main way that it's coming through for me is that your person feels like their emotions are holding them back from. It's like their emotions are holding them back from expressing their emotions. And once again, like what they may be doing may not be lining up with their feelings. And that could be for you. I feel like that's kind of a theme in both sides. I feel like both you and your person could like be doing things, but they don't really line up with how y'all truly feel. And because of that, I feel like there is this emotional tenderness in both sides here, especially with your person, because I feel like your person is just like, why won't you let me in? Or like, you're like, why won't you let me in? Just that. I feel like that's a huge model for this reading. Just like, why won't you let me in? Let's pull one more card here. We have Six of Cups. Wow, another soulmate card here, because Six of Cups represents soulmate. But one thing that's interesting to me is that there is a hourglass here. So once again, this connection could go really far back. For some of you, not all of you. But once again, just this theme of familiarity and someone that you feel like you have known, or literally have known for a really long time now. But I do think that there is a level of innocence within this reading, especially with that dolphin card there. I feel like this person feels really safe with you. They deem you as familiar. And I almost wonder with the Hangman card, they're like, oh, and the Five of Wands. They just like, they don't want to move on from you, pile 2. They don't want to move on. They don't want anyone else. They really want you. And they really hate to admit that they have tried moving on. I feel like they have tried moving on. They have tried seeing other people, talking to other people, maybe even getting down with other people. But it's just like, it's not you, And I feel like I almost wonder if throughout the course of this relationship, it's just kind of been like they keep coming back into your life in one way or another. And it's just like they really want to be with you, pile 2, and they really want to see things out. But obviously because of the circumstances, they can't. And honestly, with the hourglass here, I think they are willing to wait, pile 2. I think that this person is they aren't scared of the wait, but they're scared of what might happen during the wait, and they just really hope that by the end that you will still choose them, or that you will still choose this connection, or vice versa, like whatever the case may be. But just know that I do think that this person will come back around constantly, and they probably will always check up on you, and they'll always come through for you because they really care about you. I would dare to say that they L-word you, and maybe you L-word them. But I think that there is an immense amount of love in this connection here. And I just feel like there's a lot of healing going on, and a lot of confusion, and a lot of like smoke and mirrors that's kind of blocking the connection. But I do think that individually you all need to kind of solve y'all's lives out, especially the Sin Eater and the Lizard energy. And I think that there's a lot of forgiveness to be done here and a lot of moving on from personal trauma and pain. And that will kind of excel the relationship. You know, the more you pay attention to yourself, the more this connection intensifies and becomes more beautiful, you know. It's just like, I do think that whenever the union happens, because I really do feel like with the Six of Cups here, I'm heavily anticipating a union. And with this Hangman card here, I really am anticipating it. And I feel like whatever the case may be, it will be beautiful. And it's like whether or not you choose this person, pile 2, or whether or not they choose you, it'll be amazing. And I do think that this connection will have a chance in the future. And obviously at that point, it's up to you as to whether or not you take it. But just know, like, oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, let's pull. I have these messages, you know, like the hidden truth, and then these little tea leaf cards because I'm obsessed with them, and I wanted to pull a few for you. So for the first card, I hide behind material things. So yeah, maybe your person kind of copes through retail shopping, or maybe that's what you do, but I feel like that's more of your person. They're like, oh, look what I bought, and they're just like kind of like, they're like, I bought this for you. Or maybe this is kind of weird, maybe they do things for you in the 3D to show their love. Like maybe they offer you things or they buy you things as a form of love. And maybe because they just like are so bad at expressing their feelings word or like, you know, like in a more tangible way that they do it materialistically. And we also have I lost myself for a little while. I feel like these cards are kind of more mutual than anything. I feel like both sides could be saying these things, but I do think that your person kind of lost themselves in materialism, whether that be like pleasures or like buying things. My neighbors are irritating me. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna let those be messages all on their own. I kind of don't want to elaborate because I kind of want them to apply in whatever way you deem. But we have fair man, dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. So maybe this fair man here is kind of causing problems, or maybe your person's a fair man, but I feel like this is more of an external energy, and this could be like any fair man. I feel like this could be anyone in your life. It doesn't even have to be a literal man. It could be like just someone who radiates masculine energy, and maybe they're kind of causing this confusion and all these smoke and mirrors. And then we have 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. I'm saying pile 2. I know that's right. We have ear, good news. And then we have angel, spiritual guidance, protection from harm. Literally. Yeah, I'm just gonna let those be new like messages all on their own. But I really do feel like your person is like, something's coming. I feel like they're going to say something to you pretty soon, or something's going to happen pretty soon. But good things are coming, pile 2. And I think that they're like an era of y'all's lives is kind of being wrapped up. And I feel like you guys are moving into a new era of the connection if you all have known each other for a really long time. But yeah, I'm going to say that's it for the reading, mostly because my neighbors are literally irritating me. I'm going to go into the kitchen and just like sit there and just like think about everything that is going on right now and be like, girl, why are they playing loud music at like 3 in the afternoon? Like, go home, stay inside. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for watching pile 2. Like, comment, subscribe if you like wouldn't mind. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Oh my god, pile 3. Literally, it's the next day. You can't tell because it's all in the video, but yesterday I was nearing the end of pile 2 and my neighbors started playing loud music. I was so anxious. I was like, no, I can't do this. So I just waited until the next day. So because I didn't want to film at night because one, I usually always like use the natural light that comes through the window here because I just find it to be more easy to look at, a little bit more natural. Anyways, I'm really excited for today's reading. If you chose this pile, obviously this is your reading. If I didn't, I should have said that earlier. But I'm really excited today because the reason I was so hype about this reading is because the format I'm doing is like a person A, person B format. I've never done that before, and I always thought it was so pretty looking at all the cards laid out in the video. and they're like pointing and like talking. I was just like, wow, this is so aesthetically relaxing and pleasing. So yeah, so here goes. And before we get into it, you already probably know what I'm about to say as a disclaimer, but if you see bits and pieces of yourself in both people, or you literally just sound like both people, or vice versa, your person sounds like both, that is maybe a sign that y'all are mirroring each other. But if you don't resonate with either people, or your person doesn't sound like them, then it probably isn't your reading. Don't continue on. And I'm only saying that because I feel like love readings are kind of like a touchy subject, especially now since there's so many of them. And I don't want you to sit through a reading that isn't resonating when there's probably like another video out there that would resonate and would give you the right message. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, because I respect you and your time. So for person A, we have Peacock, and then we have Lunar Masculine. And then for person B, we have Starfish. And hold on. Sorry, I just like it when things look perfect. And then Skyfather. So right off the bat, pile 3, I just want to say there was 2 main things that really stuck out to me about this pile. I definitely think it was the most unique pile out of the bunch, in the sense that I don't feel as though this relationship or like your situation with your person is nearly as developed as the other piles. And I say that because the Peacock card and the Starfish card both kind of talk about, how do I say, appearances and, just vanity. Because obviously Peacock and Starfish are very aesthetic creatures. And not to objectify them, I hope it didn't come off that way. But, they are very aesthetic creatures, and they are not necessarily concerned about their appearance. But, appearance is important to them, especially the Peacock. I do think that the Peacock person here pays a little bit more attention to their appearance, a little more than the Starfish. I think the Starfish just happens to look really good, lol. But also with the Lunar Masculine and Skyfather card, it really stuck out to me that both of these cards were kind of a more masculine energy. And that gave me 2 messages. One being that, first of all, I feel like that feeds into the idea that this isn't a very developed relationship, or one that is very far along, because I feel like the way we present ourselves and the way we kind of hold ourselves up if we don't know someone is more masculine, I don't feel as though either one of y'all are the kind of people to be like a damsel in distress or like overly feminine. And not to say that there's anything wrong with that or anything, but I'm just saying that that's kind of the energy I'm picking up on here. And the other message that I also felt really called to mention is that this very well could be a situation where, obviously this can apply to any of the piles, but I felt like it was magnified or kind of like highlighted in this one. But like y'all could be, the same gender, or y'all could identify as the same thing. So it could, because these are both masculine cards, so it could be man on man, or it could be woman on woman, and everything in between that. If you're like gender fluid, your person could also be gender fluid, or if you just things like that. And I wanted to start with one person at a time. So I'll call this the Peacock person, the Starfish person, because I feel like person A, person B can kind of get disorienting and confusing. But with this Peacock person, I feel like they are a very emotional person. Both of these piles are very emotional, but I feel like the Peacock person, the emotions are simply a little bit different. I think they are more cerebral. I think that the Peacock person kind of has a very good balance of head and heart compared to the Starfish person, at least. And I feel like with the Peacock person, I almost wonder if they're getting done up just to like attract the Starfish, because obviously in nature, peacocks, like especially the males, can ruffle up their feathers, and they look pretty, and they like, they show off to attract a mate, and I felt like that was relevant information in this situation. And that's why I still kind of feel like this is more of the relationship or situation where you may not be speaking to your person, or it may just be starting off, and it could be in a very young stage, or it could literally be y'all are in a relationship and y'all are like far along. It doesn't matter the progress, but I'm just sensing that the energy here is a lot more innocent and a lot more younger. and definitely one where ego is involved and a little bit more important because of vanity. But with this lunar masculine card, basically this card talks about kind of this polarity, or kind of this, like, the best way I can say is like oil and water, with how in society, men are typically depicted as not very emotional, or usually make change through aggression, violence, and just to create abrupt change. But the lunar masculine card kind of combines those things in the sense that creating great change with your emotions and vulnerability and being softer, having a more gentle approach to life. And I feel like this peacock person, first of all, like, I just feel like fashion is a huge staple to this peacock person. I feel like they can sometimes become a little bit superficial because of that, and I feel like they are maybe sometimes a person that gets overstimulated easily. I feel like the kind of person that kind of likes to take things in at their own pace and is kind of one to move at their own pace, especially emotionally. But obviously the peacock card is ruled by air here. And by the way, we have lunar here, so your person could be, this person could be a Cancer or Pisces. I always like mentioning Pisces because the moon card in tarot is ruled by Pisces. And then we also have air here, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then the starfish card, we have, sorry, I just went blank, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And then this is obviously Sky Father. Sky make me think of air. I also say sun here, so Leo could be relevant. It's also really interesting because I see a sun here and then a moon. No. Oh my god. A moon here and then a sun here. So I almost wonder if y'all surface level seem to really just care about vanity and maybe be superficial people, at least at first glance. I feel like both people can relate when they say that people don't expect them to be exactly how they are. I feel like the peacock person comes off as more detached and more emotionless, or even like aggressive, or just kind of aloof. But then once you get to know them, they're more emotional and more determined to make change with their emotions, determined to make a difference. Perhaps this peacock person literally wants to see men be more vulnerable, or more masculine energies be more vulnerable. And I just think that this peacock person cares a lot about like society and kind of politics and things like that. I think that the peacock person may be a very political person, or someone who desires change in the world, someone who's just very like humanitarian and very, how do I say, respectful of identities. They're not the type of person to make you sacrifice, or they're just kind of the person that's like, no, I don't want you to go out of your way, and things like that. And then with this starfish person, I feel like they're kind of the opposite, in the sense that they come off as more slow, emotional, and receptive. But then I feel like once you get to know them, they're more flamboyant and more spontaneous and fun. I feel like it's just this kind of, not opposites attract, but kind of two very different energies in how they present themselves and how they actually are just very attracted to the different, like, the dynamic. And I think that this starfish person, they come off as one that is moving very slowly and very careless and maybe even superficial, because I feel like, at least in the entry for the starfish card in the guidebook, they are very susceptible to being kind of superficial, or kind of attracted to superficial things. I feel like they come off that way, but then I feel like once you get to know them, they actually are very prideful, very proud, and very, excited. And with the Sky Father, it's just kind of like a more, not aggressive card, but a more energetic card in my eyes. And the starfish person probably also desires change in the world. I just feel like there's this relationship of like, y'all may have met through like a friend group, or maybe y'all saw each other in the store or something. But I just think that the way you met this person, like regardless of which person you identify with in this reading, I just feel like the way y'all may have met was very community based. So it could have been through like school, work, or just kind of a situation where you're out and about. It's not like, or y'all could even met through a dating app. I feel just these themes of like a very airy union. It could, like, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. When you think of those things, you think of technology, dating apps, meeting people at a community place, seeing someone at the store, things like that. And obviously, if you don't resonate with any of those, you know how you met your person. So just apply that in. But I do feel like it was a very airy intervention in my opinion. All right. So I should have mentioned this earlier, but we're gonna have like a few different layers to this reading. There's 3 layers. So we just did the first layer for person A, person B, and now the second layer is kind of seeing what's going on in the connection and the overall feelings. So the first card, Dragonfly. If you see me, change is coming. If I touch you, your angels are near. This card is so pretty. Look at it. It's definitely one of the more minimalistic cards in this deck. So y'all could be into minimalism, like this black and white. Once again, just this theme of elegance and this theme of like very sophisticated energy. I feel like you and your person are both very tasteful and unconventional people. The way y'all probably dress probably really sticks out to each other. And then we also have 7 of cigarettes and effort. So yeah, with this effort card, I once again just want to like reiterate this narrative that this relationship or situationship here is definitely a little bit younger and more in the early stages of a relationship. And with the 7 of cigarettes, the literal definition of this card that they came in the guidebook is, company and union, or at least that's what I absorbed. And then the 7 of cigarettes corresponds to the 7 of wands. And I just feel like, with these masculine energies here, and once again, y'all don't have to be men or be overly masculine, but I'm just saying that like masculine energies are kind of presented here. But I'm just saying with this masculine energy that I'm picking up on, I just feel like with this 7 of cigarettes and effort card, it's just like y'all are kind of taking this at your own individual paces. And I feel like because of that, it's caused kind of a rift in your perspective on both of y'all's perspective on this situation here, or at least your perspective, pile 3. But your person could very well, I feel like they feel the same way. I was gonna say very well feel the same way, and I think that both apply here in the sense that I think that your person, regardless of how they actually feel towards you, we'll get into that with the tarot soon, but I just think that your person is kind of mirroring you, I feel. Not like literally mirroring you, like I said in the beginning, but in the sense that they're kind of approaching the relationship the same way you are, which is kind of very carefully and with a lot of daydreaminess. I'm sensing a lot of daydreaming going on. Pile 3, I wouldn't be surprised if you think about your person a lot, or you kind of like a lot of things you see remind you of them. And let me just say, I think that they very much feel the same way. I feel like they see things that remind them of you, and it could very well deal with like gardens or like aquariums. I'm sensing maybe y'all like the aquarium because we have the starfish card here, and the reason I said garden is because we have a dragonfly here, and then we have this watering can here full of flowers. So I just feel like maybe y'all are into flowers, or y'all are kind of into like nature in general. And I almost wonder if y'all have spent time together, y'all went to like a park or something, or kind of looked at a pond. But whatever the case may be, I do think that this person sees a lot of things that remind them of you. And at the 7 of cigarettes, I feel like they have taken kind of a defensive stance, and not like a defensive stance in the sense that, like standing my ground against you, but more of the sense that they're very peculiar about being vulnerable with you. And I feel as though you feel the same way. I think that you guys, like, I'm sensing like, in movies where people, like, there's 2 people and they're both hiding behind like a trash can or like a dumpster, and they peek out and like shoot a few shots at each other, and then they like go hiding again, and then the other person pokes out and shoots a few shots at each other. I feel like that's kind of like the dynamic of this relationship, in the sense that you all are both kind of like, throwing little bits of commentary or like signs that you are interested, just kind of like I'm just thinking like you send a text to this person like, hey, I missed you, and then like a day later they're like, hey, I was thinking of you. It's just like this very like unconventional and very wacky style of communication, and like combined with that is this very interesting and almost humorous receptivity, in the sense that you guys kind of like pick up on it in weird ways and show your interest in weird ways. Or in the case that you're not really interested in your person, I feel like y'all give each other mixed signals as to whether or not you guys are interested. I almost wonder if the 7 of cigarettes and the effort card, both parties are kind of waiting on the other to make a move or kind of, step up, and I think that applies once again to no matter what stage of the situation you are with your person. Y'all could literally have been married for like 10 years now, or y'all could have known each other for only 10 days, but it's just the sense of, I feel like there's a lot of waiting going on here, and a lot of just like looking nice at a kind of superficial level, looking nice in the 3D realm and appealing to each other with the peacock and starfish card. And then with the dragonfly card, once again, this theme of like, aesthetics and beauty and just kind of like, like getting done up to appeal to the other person. It's like, you like, say you work with this person, so you don't have to, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna make sure my hair looks extra good today for them, or like so that they notice me, or like the person's like, ooh, I'm gonna wear a tighter shirt today so that they notice me, just kind of that vibe, and just kind of provoking each other to make a move or kind of get each other to notice one another. It's really cute, honestly, pile 3. This is very sweet. I don't tell anyone, but I think this is my favorite pile. Don't tell pile 1 and 2. And if you're from pile 1 and 2, you did not hear me say that. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's very sweet. I feel like that's really it. Okay, and then we're going to get into the next part of the reading, which is the tarot. So I'm going to take the person cards away and then kind of get into the tarot and see how they actually feel for you. All right. Just like one thing to forget. I drink some coffee. I hope y'all agree with that. I hope y'all are okay with me drinking coffee. If not, I'll stop. All right. Yeah. When I was picking up the tarot deck for this video, I was like, I want a deck that's like more minimalistic but also very detailed. And then lo and behold, I landed on this one. This is the Luminous Spirit Oracle. I'll list all of the decks in the description below. Ooh, super excited. I'm really excited. How does pile 3's person feel towards pile 3? I'm going to read the same way as I always do. 5 shuffles and pull a card at a time. How does pile 3's person feel towards pile 3? Okay. First card, we have the World. Yeah, it does seem like there's this theme of like distance involved. Maybe, okay, that immediately makes me think of Sagittarius, because I feel like with the World card, that kind of like makes me think of Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is all about like exploring the world and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, pile 3, literally in the midst, you've had the most interruptions for your reading. I was filming, oh my god, I was doing the reading, and then my roommate came out, and she's like on the phone, I guess, and she's talking really loud, and I was like, girl. So, and I was thinking about it while I was sitting here waiting for her to go back to her room, and I was like, I almost wonder if pile 3 has been trying to meet up with this person or kind of trying to make a move, but it always gets ruined, or there's always kind of like this vibe of like intervention by an external source that causes the situation. Anyways, I deeply apologize. Oh my gosh. These readings have been so much longer, and the more time you spend filming, the higher the chance of something interrupting it like goes up. Oh, so embarrassing. Anyways, as I was saying with the World card, I feel like, first of all, I wanted to talk about the Sagittarius energy, because I feel like I associate Sagittarius with like exploring the world. So your person could be like from abroad. I almost wonder if like there's 12th house or like Neptune influence in your 7th house. That's just a loose thought for me. But I do feel like with the World card, it just seems as if though distance is a factor in this situation. Maybe y'all are long distance, or seen them abroad and it was like love at first sight and y'all haven't seen each other since. But whatever the case may be, distance or the physical world may be kind of a factor that is kind of blocking this relationship, if at all it's being blocked. And Yeah, and when I say long distance, it doesn't even have to be like, you live in different countries or anything. I feel like y'all could even just live maybe 1 to 2 hours away from each other. And, to some people, especially city brats, that's like long distance. If you don't live on their street, they're like, you're too far away. It's like, girl. Anyways, I just feel like this person is also of a different background. And I feel like they see you that way. I feel like with the world card, they see you as someone who brings a lot of wholeness, someone who is very balanced and symmetrical, because this card just looks very symmetrical to me. She has her stuffs out, and honestly, I don't even know why I'm covering it up. But, I just feel like there's just kind of this sense of like this person probably sees a lot of wholeness within you, or they feel wholeness with you. And when I say that, I just feel like they love spending time with you. I feel like if y'all are past that kind of icebreaker situation, I almost wonder if you guys really, this person really likes spending time with you, pile 3, if you do spend time together. If not, I just feel like they really want to spend time with you. It just deals with, the point is they want to spend time with you and they would like it, or they do like it. And I just think that they really want to take you out. I think that they want to take you to like a restaurant or go on a shopping spree or window shopping if you're anything like me. And or like it doesn't even have to be like going out physically. Maybe they just want to like come over or something, or vice versa, they want you to come over. But I do think that they also want to travel with you. This is kind of random, but I always daydream about impulsively driving to San Francisco with somebody. So maybe they want to do that with you. And I just feel like with this world card, like just in general, it just gives me the sense like, wow, this person seems so legit and so like I want to be seen with them, because we had the peacock and starfish card, which is all about vanity. And I do feel like looks matters to this person, and they very much deem you as visually pleasing, or at least easy on the eyes. And I just think that they really want to spend time with you and be with you. And that be with you statement could range from anything from just like being on the phone with you, or literally like be in a relationship with you, depending on what might resonate with you. So yeah, let's pull another card here. 3 of Swords. I think that's interesting because, okay, first of all, this heart has an eye on it, and then there's like 3 swords poking the eye out. I almost wonder, pile 3, if this kind of, because obviously the 3 of Swords, let's not even beat around the bush. It's literally about emotional pain and heartbreak. But I feel like the reason that this pain is being caused is for reasons that are unconventional, or at least not expected. And what I mean by that is I feel like this person's really upset because I feel like they really want to see you again. Because like I said with this Dragonfly card, it seems as if though a lot of things remind them of you. And I feel like they miss you. If anything, the world card could be indicative of that too. So I almost wonder if this person's like, wow, I really want to see pile 3 again. I really want to spend time with them again. Or, I should have asked them out on a date. Or like, oh my gosh, why did I let them get away, You very well could be the one that got away. I'm just saying pile 3. Because if we had the peacock and starfish card, at that point, it don't even matter which one of those people are. They're both very beautiful people. And pile 3, I feel like this person deems you as a catch. And I think this emotional pain is more of a regret of something that they could have done differently regarding effort. Or, dissolving their ego so that they didn't they can approach me instead. But it's like, pile 3, I feel like you're the type of person that's like, nah. Like, honestly, I'm just not the type of person to chase you, Like, I have my own things going on. If you want to be with me, like, you got to put in that effort, you know what I'm saying? And I think that you very much emulate that energy, pile 3. Obviously, if you don't, maybe your person mirrors, like, emulates that energy. But I do feel like that's you. And with this 3 of Swords here, I just feel like, I don't know, like, the 3 of Swords is a very simple card. It's very straightforward. There's no other way to kind of word it because it's literally just heartbreak, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like this card, and that's why I was kind of like, let me just be transparent. But yeah, with this world card and 3 of Swords, yeah, it feels like this. It just feels like this relationship isn't as developed. I know I keep saying that, and I know I keep reiterating that, but I feel like this just kind of further proves the point because it just seemed as if though that this person wanted to make a move or spend more time with you. And honestly, maybe, okay, once again, the relationship doesn't have to be underdeveloped, because I think it's interesting that you're the pile that has received the most interruptions, and I almost wonder if y'all have had to constantly rain check, or if opportunities to spend time with you has been constantly denied or interrupted, intervened. And I almost wonder if this person's getting frustrated or really hurt and like upset, and it's just like, dang, I just want to see pile 3, but they keep calling me in on these days. They keep calling pile 3 in when I want to spend time with them. Pile 3's not home right now. They're at the store. Like, why can't I be at the store with them? Like, oh my gosh, my mom needs help. Like, girl. And it seems like the world is working against this person, especially, maybe even just both of y'all, it's working against y'all. And it's just like, I almost wonder if because of this, the amount of interventions this person has faced, not interventions, but like interruptions this person has faced in regards to trying to spend time with you, I almost wonder if they haven't properly communicated that, and it comes off as very aloof or kind of inconsiderate, and just kind of like, I'm tired of you doing rain checks. Why do you not want to spend time with me? You always have an excuse or an exception. It's like, I'm literally making plans and I am detailing it, and it's just like you keep bailing out on me because like, what, like your mom needed help getting the cereal out the pantry because the pantry has a padlock on it. I don't know, but you know what I mean? It's just like these seemingly ridiculous and excessive excuses to almost not spend time with you. And I almost wonder if that kind of came off as like very perplexing or very like, I'm gonna say it again, and I've said it in every video since, smoke and mirrors. And it's just like very disorienting, and disorienting could be very universal here. It doesn't have to be like, like going cross-eyed, like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But I just feel like it's been very hard to see this person, or it has been seemingly very like careful and just not very organized. I just thought of this time, oh my gosh, this is so random, but there's this like Target employee that I like thought was super cute. I remember I would constantly go to Target and like I'd always be like looking for them. And I almost wonder that's kind of the vibe here, pile 3. I almost wonder this person's always subtly looking for you. This person's always just kind of like thinking of you and be like, oh my gosh, what if that's them in that car? Or oh my gosh, what if that's them walking down the street? Oh my gosh, what if that's them right there in the Target aisle or in the uniform even? Maybe you forget Target, I don't know. But just the sense of like they seem to always be subtly looking for you or always kind of obsessing over you, maybe even. I feel like 3 of Swords can really kind of point to an obsessive energy. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this person's like really thinking about you, pile 3, especially because it's the Swords card, and Swords deals with the mind and our thoughts. So I do think that they think about you a lot, and I do think that it's maybe even a little bit obsessive to the point where they're manifesting you. And I almost wonder if like you weren't even like interested like that in the first place, and it's just like now you find yourself thinking of them and you're like, hey yo, what's going on? Like I was just working and then he popped up in my head, and I didn't mean that to happen, like who's this? But anyways, I'm gonna pull another card. 2 of Swords. Wow. A lot of air energy here. Once again, just kind of referring back to the airy energy I was talking about, and I feel like it's a very airy union, a very casual, very community-based union. And with the 2 of Swords here, obviously this card is talking about indecisions. And what's interesting to me is like, this is kind of far-fetched, but it's 2 birds holding a sword, and I don't know why, but I just feel like 2 birds flying while holding the swords makes the situation even more confusing, even more difficult to get on the same page with, because you're both in like a flight. How do I say it? You're both in the air, and when things are in the air, it's that much harder for plans to go through situations. Like, it makes me think of like Mercury retrograde, just a lack of good communication, a lack of like plans going through, things going the way as intended, plans getting pushed back, rain check, all things like that. Just a lot of disruptive energy. And I feel like your person is very nervous, I'm sensing, when it comes to you, because I feel like, because if they have been doing constant rain checks or they haven't really spent a lot of time with you, first of all, they do want to spend time with you, and I feel like because of that, they just like, they're worried that you are frustrated with them or not into it, or they're kind of like, oh my gosh, what if I irritated them because like I'm always calling off, or like I'm always like doing something else and it's just like I don't mean it like that, or like, oh my gosh, they won't return my text. I just, this huge rift within communication. I almost wonder if that's why you felt inclined to pick this pile, or like watch the video, or like look for a video like this if you were looking for it. It's just like something inclines me to believe that this person's actions haven't really been lining up the words, and I feel like that's kind of been a theme in all of the readings today, but I think that in this reading it's a little bit different in the sense that like they communicate that they really want to see you and spend time with you, but their actions don't line up with it, and then that kind of motto of like, if they wanted to they would, is kind of popping up in my head, because I feel like maybe that's a motto you've been kind of saying to yourself, or a motto that has been kind of prominent in your life, like if they wanted to they would, so bye. And I just feel like this person's very worried that you're closing off on them, or not being as receptive, or kind of giving up on them. And it's just like, not to say that to be like, oh, like don't give up on them, like that's like completely up to you, pile 3, but I'm just saying, this person is very much thinking about you, and they really want to put in the effort to show that they are interested, or that they want to really show their love to you if y'all are more farther along the relationship. But it definitely seems as if though this person is just like very scattered all over the place, especially if they have like Gemini placements. I almost wonder if they have like a Gemini moon, or just Gemini in their sun, moon, or rising, or also in their Mercury. And I just feel like this person is like all over the place, and it's just like very stressful. Like, I'm sensing like a lagger in, pile 3, I'm so sorry, I do not like laggers. The type of person who like you text them and then maybe like 3 days later they'll reply, and it's just like a few words, and it's just like, do you even care, dude? Just this sense of like, why text me back at all? It's just probably really frustrating, pile 3. And I'm sensing that you are kind of fed up with it, and I think that they kind of sense that, because I don't think that you have returned a lot of the texts or called them back or anything like that. And I just think that this person is just kind of like all over the place right now. I think that with the 2 of Swords and 3 of Swords, not only may this speak about how they feel upset because they want to spend more time with you, I also feel like this speaks of like they have their own things going on, especially with the World card here. Maybe they're like moving homes or something, maybe they're moving jobs, maybe they're traveling a lot, or they've been really packed, really busy. I feel like ever since Saturn left retrograde a few weeks ago, just the sense of like everyone's kind of picked up burdens. Unless you're like me and you have Saturn retrograde in your chart and it didn't really affect you, lol, but that's neither here nor there. But I just feel like this person has picked up a lot more responsibilities, and that they've been kind of on a go, go, go mentality, because I almost wonder if like leading up to this point they were hoping, they were applying for jobs, or they were signing up for classes and things like that, things of the sorts of picking up burdens or picking up things in their schedule to kind of get a move on. And I almost wonder if all of those things kind of culminated and they're now in a position where they're always doing something. And I feel like there's so little time for like relationships and romance in their life right now, and I just feel like they want to make room for it, and I think they're trying. I think they really care about you, and they really want to spend time with you and talk to you more, but it's just the sense of like, girl, it's just like you're just not having it. Once again, if they wanted to they would, and I think that that's a motto you've been practicing. And I do feel like this person, with time, once their schedule kind of settles, all the dust settles, and like I think of like a fan finally slowing down, it's so you can clean it, I guess, I don't know, but like when it makes me think of like a fan slowing down, like for example, like you can't get out of a helicopter or anything when it's on, when the blades are doing helicopter things, you can't go near the helicopter, you can't get out of it. It's like you should really wait until it's completely still for safety reasons, and I almost wonder if that's kind of like the motto that this person has been going, not motto, but kind of the motion that this person has been going through. They're kind of waiting for things to kind of settle, and so that they can make time for you. And I almost wonder if they've tried to make time for you, but it was very like half-assed, or kind of like, you know, it didn't seem like they were putting in as much effort as they actually were, you know. I just feel like, and on top of that, their words of like, oh yeah, like, you know, flirting with you, being all cutesy and stuff like that, and then they just like don't reply for 5 hours, and it's just like, girl, like, are you even interested? Are you talking to other people? Like, I'm not the one, I'm not doing it. LOL, sorry, you know, peace, love, serenity, my Uber's here, I gotta go, bye. You know, just that vibe. That was really off tangent. Sorry, pile 3. Let's pull one more card. The Lovers. Wow. I also see a stain on this card. I hope that's not. Anyways, once again with the Gemini energy here, I feel like your person could have Gemini in their chart. I feel really called to mention third house placements and Gemini placements. There could also be Aquarius placements. I feel like Aquarius act like this too. But I mean, pile 3. The Lovers card is literally the Lovers. So, but I also think that this could go a few different ways here, because we also have a 2 of Swords here, and you know, just 2s in general, and then the Lovers card with this Gemini energy being reinforced. Your person doesn't have to have Gemini in their chart. There doesn't have to be any Gemini placements at all between the two of you. But I'm just saying that the Gemini energy is very much kind of pushed here, and I almost wonder if there's been kind of this crossroads situation. I almost wonder if this person's kind of at a crossroads right now, or you're at a crossroads. But, you know, take this how it resonates, pile 3. But I feel like there is kind of there's decisions to be made here, you know. And I'm going to list out a few just to kind of like provide context. But I'm saying, like, should I stick around for this person and see how they start to act in the future? Or should I just move on and find someone else? Should I wait till I have more time for this person, or should I just keep trying right now? Should I take this shift, or should I make more time for this person? You know, just this sense of like, there's a lot of ultimatums and there's a lot of fork in the roads with this situationship, and I think that it's very disorienting for you. And I think that there's a huge lack of clarity with how this person feels towards you, obviously, because you know. But do you know, pile 3, I don't mean to like feed this to you or make it sound like, you know, being like, oh my god, he likes you, or like they like you, you know. But I do feel like this person they have their eye on you, pile 3. They very much think about you. You're very much on their mind, and you're not a thought that has left their mind, okay? I want to make that very clear, and I do sense that. And it's just like, whether or not you want to believe that, I do think that this person fancies you at the very least, you know. But I think that because of their lifestyle, they've been forced into a more superficial position, and because of that, they've been kind of immovable and kind of stubborn to make moves, or stubborn to compensate. And I think that they're very much going with the flow right now, but it's just kind of like this internalized frustration of like, oh, I'm going with the flow, but it's like, I feel like this person's slipping away from me. And I very much think that you are slipping away, pile 3, or vice versa. And I just think that this person is just like kind of worried and in their head a little bit. And for multiple different reasons, I just think that you're kind of like the cherry on top, because you are the cherry on top in any situation. I feel like you really make anything better. But, you know, this person is just kind of like up in their head about it. Even as I do this reading, you know, I just feel like I'm like talking really fast and kind of rambling, going all over the place. And I almost wonder if that's how this person is right now. And as a result, they don't really have time to sit down and focus and truly feel what they're feeling, and kind of like admit to themselves like, hey, like, I really like this person, and it's like, there is a reason I'm constantly thinking about them, you know, and there is a reason I constantly want to spend time with them and talk to them. And it's just like, they're not really acknowledging those feelings, and it's coming off as very aloof and very inconsiderate, very closed off, emotionally constipated. And yeah. So I have a few more oracle cards here. Okay, so I pulled these little messages, you know, what your person may want to say to you, and then, or like, you know, things that they think about you. And then I also pulled some tea leaf cards because I'm obsessed with these. They're super cute. So yeah, the first card is, I can't stop thinking about you. I mean, I'm gonna let these cards be a message all on their own and let you discern them. And then I will wait for a sign from you. So I almost wonder if this person's waiting for you to make a move, you know, you to text first or something like that. And pile 3, like, I do think that with time they'll eventually cave, and they would be the one to talk to you, but I think that they're very nervous about your interest towards them. Maybe you are, I almost wonder if you're a commitment-full pile 3, and if you are, like, hello, I relate, me too. But I just think that this person they're definitely thinking about you. You know, and it's like, it doesn't matter what context in which they're thinking about you, but the point is they are definitely thinking about you. I know that for sure. And then for the tea leaf cards, we have teardrops, great personal sorrow. You can say that again. Haystack, karma, you will reap what you have sown. Rainbow, the most difficult part of a situation is over. You got the most tea leaf cards, by the way. You got 5. The other piles got 4. Chain of events that will affect your life. And mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. I feel like this could speak of both people, but I definitely do think that your person is kind of sabotaging themselves, you know? Being like, oh my gosh, if this person's not interested or something. And it's like, dude, I'm literally down. Like, let's go. Like, my ring finger doesn't have a ring on it. Let's go. I'm down. I'm open to it. But you're out here like up in your head. And it's like, if you want to be in your head, then I'm not going to, you know, it's like, there was a clever way I was going to word it. Like, if you're going to be in your head, then you can stay in your head and I'll stay in my head instead of your arms. LOL. That was so ugly. How am I gonna cope with saying that on the internet? Anyways. So yeah. I want these to be kind of messages on their own. I kind of pulled them for funsies. They can discern them for themselves and see how they apply, because I feel like they provide an extra layer of context. But yeah. I do think that this situation is kind of blowing over, and I do think that your person their schedule is gonna open up a little bit more, and I do think that the effort you did put in and the effort they didn't put in will kind of pay off in their own kind of ways because of the karma influence here. But yeah, that's what I have for you, pile 3. I'm so sorry about all the interruptions that you have faced in your reading, and I am sorry if you are dealing with someone who takes 3 hours to text back, and I hope it didn't bother you. I know that when I watch readings, it doesn't like bother me, but it's just like, I'm a Virgo midheaven, so I'm very bothered and very anxious. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. And before I say that 1 million more times, I'm going to cut it off here. So bye.